very lovely afternoon to you. This is Nationwide, and welcome back from Benin, Edo State, where we just saw the PDP primary election there. And now the Senate has confirmed the appointments of Olayemi Kadoso as chairman and 11 others as members of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The confirmation, as requested by President Bola Tinubu and in accordance with constitutional provisions, has membership of the committee drawn from the CBN, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Ministry of Finance, including economic and financial experts. Lawmakers say Nigerians expect the members of the committee to immediately redirect monetary policies that would get the country out of the current economic challenge for the good of citizens. The other members of the Monetary Policy Committee confirmed by the Senate are Muhammad Abdullahi, Bala Bello, Usoro, Philip Ikazo, and Lamido Yuguda. Also confirmed are Jafia Shehu, Murtala Shagagi, Aloysius Uche, Pauline Odinkemelu, Mustafa Akinwumi, and Bandele Amu. Meanwhile, Senate has, in concurrence with the House of Representatives, passed the bill that seeks to establish the Southeast Development Commission for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the zone suffered as a result of the civil war and to address other environmental challenges in the region. And now the Senate Committee on Health has mandated the National Health Insurance Authority to ensure efficient management of the 12.7 billion Basic Health Care Provision Fund and the 2024 budgets, especially at the states. This was at the oversight visits of the committee to the agency. Ignatius Unko reports.
Few hours after the confirmation of Dr. Kelechi Ohiri as the Director General of the National Health Insurance Authority, the Senate Committee on Health visited the headquarters of the agency on oversight. This was to get information on the operations of the authority, especially the implementation of its appropriations.
We spent 2 days with the chief executives of all the state's health insurance schemes in Abuja, looking at the fiduciary, how can we strengthen the financing and the financial management process.
We expect to see our enrollment has stopped, at least.
At the National Hospital, the committee was taking rounds from departments where the hospital management solicited support of the National Assembly in replacing spoiled and obsolete equipment, especially at the Nuclear Medical Department.
I'm very impressed with what is going on in National Hospital. Well, I can see that they have a lot of potential. There's a lot more that they could do if they are provided with more equipment.
The committee also visited the Federal College of Complementary and Alternative Medicine, eager to see students, but unfortunately, the college, which received 743 million naira allocation in the 2023 budget, bore a vivid reflection of an abandoned place.
130 people here.
Yes.
38.
Yes.
138.
Yes. It's because of the way we are abandoned. That was why some of them are not here.
The building that they rented is unused, and so as a committee, we will definitely look into this and ensure that no budget is released and no taxpayers' money is wasted.
The committee was also at the Federal Staff Hospital, Gwarimpa. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The member states of the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission and HYPADEC have recognized the importance and contribution of the smallholder farmers' micro-mechanization initiative in improving food productions. This is part of resolutions reached at the end of the second stakeholders meeting with commissioners of agriculture of member states in attendance. Hussein Amusa reports.
The management of HYPADEC and commissioners of agriculture in all its benefiting states reconvened to further deliberate on the theme Sustainable Agriculture, Food Output and the Use of Micro-Modern Technologies to Boost Food Production.
We are looking at food production and we are looking at food processing, and of course we are also looking at animal production. These are the basic areas, and you know it's a very large and area. So it is this meeting that will determine what specific areas the various states are after.
We learned that people have now moved away to using small equipment, farm equipment, that 2 or 3 people can use and buy. Hand tillers, harvesters, that even a woman can operate herself. These are the kind of things we are going for. Small equipment that everybody can use. Even you can use it yourself, instead of tractors that are very costly.
The engagement also noted with concern the effect of security challenges on member communities, which has been a threat to food security. In Mina, Hussaina Musa, NTA News.
The federal government has, to a large extent, implemented substantial parts of the agreement reached with organized labor to reduce economic hardship in the country. Minister of State, Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha, pointed out the progress made so far as she appeals to the organized labor to shave off its 2-day planned nationwide strike and return to dialogue. Joseph Otsin has details.
16th February 2024. Leadership of the organized labor made up of Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC, rose from its joint NEC meeting, threatening to embark on a 2-day nationwide protest on the 27th and 28th of February if the federal government fails to implement the October 2nd, 2023 agreement it reached with the labor centers. In response to this threat, Minister of Labour and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha, has drawn the attention of the 2 workers' unions and the public to the substantial progress made so far in the implementation of the measures aimed at reducing hardship and meeting other demands of the unions. The minister pointed out that it is evidence that the 35,000 naira wage award agreed on for 6 months has been paid to federal government workers from September to December 2023, with only 2 months of January and February 2024 pending, as states are also encouraged to do same. Also, 4 months of standing salaries of ASU, as approved by the President, have been fully paid to its members, and action is ongoing to address that of other unions in the academic environment. So far, more than 3 million households, including vulnerable pensioners, benefited from the 25,000 monthly conditional cash transfer. Another key step taken to improve take-home of workers was the inauguration of a 37-member tripartite committee on national minimum wage. The committee, she says, has held 2 meetings already, while the suspension of collection of value-added tax VAT on diesel for 6 months, beginning from October 2023, was effected immediately. The minister also notes that financial commitment has been made on the provision of CNG buses and conversion kits, with a good number of buses set to be rolled out soon. Stakeholders are also engaged on tax incentives to businesses. Distribution of subsidized fertilizer was one of the major components of the October 2nd Memorandum of Understanding. This, the minister notes, government has made tremendous progress in this regard. Meanwhile, plans are in top gear to accelerate the process of job creation through the release of funds to micro and small-scale businesses. Furthermore, a joint visitation by government and organized labor to the refineries was agreed on, and that the Minister of Labour and Employment says was successfully carried out on the 21st of February 2024, where it was also established that the Port Harcourt refinery is 80% completed. Another content of the October agreement was the leadership crisis rocking NURTW and RETEN. Government waded into the matter, and the issues are amicably resolved, with the transporters operating their businesses peacefully. Though implementation of many of the agreements reached with labor leaders may take longer time, the Minister of State Labor and Employment believes the substantial progress made demonstrates government commitment in honoring the signed October 2nd agreement. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The Coalition of Nigeria's Civil Society has appealed to the organized labor to return to the negotiation table towards achieving a national living wage by the federal government instead of embracing a warning strike. The group says that organized labor should understand the current economic situation with government and positive steps taken to put it in a right trajectory for Nigerians to breathe a sigh of relief.
Knowledge that embarking on strike actions has not resolved any problem faced by the Nigerian masses recently. The leadership of the NLC, TUC, will organize itself to contribute intellectually to the common challenges we have now. We all call for the removal of fuel subsidy. In this country, and now that it is here, it is our responsibility to make sure that it has come to stay. Whatever challenges that has accompanied this policy should be collectively resolved by and not frustrate a policy that has seen more revenue in our federation, units, and local governments.
The civil society organization called on the state governments to support the social intervention of the federal government and faithfully implementing all palliative packages to reduce hardship brought by the effects of global economic downturn. And now, we'll now be going over to Lagos now, where Michael Olaleyem is standing by.
Thank you, Ogo Chikuka. The Assistant Inspector General of Police Force Criminal Investigation Department Annex Alagbon, Lagos State, Idowu Owonwa, has assured of his command's commitment to reducing crime and criminality to the barest minimum. AIG Idowu gave the assurance during the parade of 4 cyber crime suspects at the FCID in Lagos. Nwabufo Nwoye has details.
Is in cybercrime in Nigeria and its negative impact on the lives, economy, and the international reputation of the nation has over the years become a source of concern that has pushed security agencies, including the officers of Force Criminal Investigation Department, on their toes.
Upon receiving a complaint from Ms. Shoneka Rukayat Mujisola bordering on falsification of police character certificates, obtaining money under false pretense, impersonation, forgery of signature and official stamp, FCID Annex operative attached to escort department took swift action.
These cybercrime suspects were arrested after the FCID investigative team conducted a search at their location in the Obalende area of Lagos. Items recovered include fraudulent documents such as fake police character certificate, international driver's permit, and driver's license.
I was involved in the cybercrime and forgery of the police signature.
I was issued a police character certificate, but on submitting it to the embassy, they said it was fake and they rejected it, giving me a ban of 10 years. That's the reason I sorted out for the police.
While assuring that the FCID will continue to work to protect Nigerians, AIG Owonwa warned cybercrime perpetrators to desist from the illegal act or face the consequences. In Lagos, Nwabufo Nwoye, NTA News.
The fight against corruption is unabating, while the need for electoral reform, as well as putting measures in place to curb the menace of impunity in Nigeria, is paramount. Media leaders at a forum in Lagos reiterated this stance. Dana Jali reports.
Corruption is a major threat to the peace and development of any nation, which enriches a few at the expense of the majority. In order to put a stop to this menace, the Human and Environmental Development Agenda header has for over 20 years retained its standard of neutrality, integrity, and professionalism in the discharge of its set goals. The gathering of heads of media organizations and members of the Header Resource Center is seeking to sanitize the economy of corruption.
The way forward is for us to rally around our people, to encourage the citizen, to mobilize our citizen for the sake of good governance. So until we are able to make sure that there is consequences for the things that people do, that we are able to deal with impunity, corruption will continue to be a problem for us.
The Human and Environmental Development Agenda, which serves as a platform for promoting human rights, good governance, and sustainable environment through research, training, advocacy, and policy engagement, also ensures that those involved in corruption are brought to book, tackling challenges of climate change while promoting better ways of ensuring food security in the country.
There's nowhere you find government that fights corruption by itself. It can only be with the media and the civil society.
The theme of the gathering is building synergies in governance, the role of civil society and media in shaping sustainable and accountable political leadership in Nigeria. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. The news will be back in Abuja after this break. Do stay.
You're still watching Nationwide today. We now head straight to Jos, where Bilkisu is standing by to give us the latest reports from that area. Hello, Bilkisu.
Kuka, nice to see you. Critical players in the medical laboratory are in Jos to develop curriculum for new courses at the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology in line with contemporary trend in the medical laboratory science. Indiang and Abagang reports.
The curriculum development is for courses in public health, health economics, immunology and vaccine production, medical laboratory management, as well as molecular biology and mortuary science, among others. This stakeholder forum for curriculum development for approved courses of the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology brought together different sectors of the profession to brainstorm and develop curriculum for course programs that will be forwarded to regulatory authorities for consideration and approval.
It will produce the cadre of experts and specialists that are needed to strengthen the healthcare service.
It's actually apt and timely that the workforce will be further empowered.
Acknowledging the pivotal role of medical laboratory science in the health sector, the provost, Professor Sunday Etukudo, says the meeting will fast-track the professional content and provide insight on requisite contemporary issues of developing curricula for new courses in a dynamic world.
There's also going to be adaptation and modification of the medical laboratory technician program so that it will be in concert with advancements in technology.
Other key players say steps taken to develop courses in different specialties in the field will contribute to the advancement of the profession. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
To stimulate investment and encourage local production of defense needs, the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, is partnering the National Meteorological Development Center, NMDC, towards achieving this set goal. This is as the Director General of DICON, Major General Anedi Edet, undertook a familiarization visit to the NMDC in Jos. Again, Indiang and Abagang has details.
The Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, is exploring collaborative options with the National Meteorological Development Center to set up a synergy to aid local production of defense needs of the country while opening doors for investment. Director General, DICON Major General Edet, while touring the facility, says DICON and MNDC have come a long way in exploring the vast potentials of mineral resources for the benefit of the country. As such, the visit is to find greater areas of synergy in meeting the defense need of the country.
DICON, as we know, is involved in production of military and defense hardwares to sustain the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies. And so there are some products we need, the steel, the lead, the copper, the brass, and we identified the NMDC as one organic agency of the country that is involved in not just researching into the high grade of these materials, but have the capability of producing them. And so our collaboration will just make sure that we keep foreign exchange indoors, we can get these materials when we need them, and we'll be able to sustain and enhance our defense productions in DICON.
Director General National Meteorological Development Center, Professor Linus Asuko, assures of robust collaboration, expressing optimism that it will promote innovative technologies towards enhancing efficiency of the Nigerian military.
Certainly, it needs the materials for the production of arms and armament, and we are ready to do that.
In Jos, Indenyan and the Abagang, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. It's back to Ugochukuka in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Bilkisu. And now, Borno State government has stressed commitment to reposition Islamia and Sangaya education systems as part of efforts to counter the Boko Haram ideology. Already, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has taken delivery of unified minimum standard curriculum for Islamic schools in the state, presented by the chairman of Arabic and Sangaya Education Board, Khalifa Sheikh Ali Abdul Fattah. Mohammed Godi reports.
Governor Zulum had, on assumption of office, expressed need to streamline the age-long Sangaya education and Islamia schools by introducing numeracy, literacy, and digital knowledge so that products of the system can aspire for higher education. This informed the establishment and inauguration of the Arabic and Sangaya Education Board, which has since swung into action. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum noted that the Islamic school had operated without a unified curriculum for over 4 decades, attributing emergence of Boko Haram insurgency to unpopular teachings.
Borno State government will take this matter during our next State Executive Council meeting. We will review the content and then we will inform you. Thereby, a policy statement will be released for effective utilization by all the Islamia schools in Borno State.
Chairman of the Arabic and Sangaya Education Board, Khalifa Sheikh Ali Abdul Fattah, said the curriculum, which is based on Maliki school of thought, centered primarily on the teachings of Arabic, Quran, Hadith, Tawheed, and Fiqh. He added that the board reviewed existing teaching methodologies and instructional materials used by the Islamia schools as part of efforts to give knowledge and values needed in the 21st century. Sheikh Ali Abdul Fattah called on parents and other stakeholders to support the new curriculum to ensure that every child has access to quality Islamic education. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
And joining me live from Maiduguri is correspondent Mohammed Goni. Mohammed, very good afternoon to you. Can you tell us about the ongoing reform in the Sangaya and Islamia education subsector and what is necessitating the reform at this time?
Thank you very much and welcome to Maiduguri. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, on assumption of office, saw the need to streamline the informal education sector into the formal education sector by introducing literacy, numeracy, digital knowledge, and vocational skill, so that the product of this system will also aspire to attain higher education at the end of their graduation. It is also predicated on the premise that the 13 years of Boko Haram insurgency was as a result of unpopular ideology indoctrinated into the children. So the state government saw the need to control and regulate the system. A situation where all commerce will come in and start teaching, and the preachers will come in and preach in the state will no longer be tolerated. Hence the establishment of Arabic and Sangaya Education Board. The board has since swung into action by initiating so many steps and measures, and the curriculum presented to Governor Babagana Umar Zulum is part of such measures taken by the board.
Okay, so we all know that acceptability has always been the challenge when introducing new ideas or trying to bring in reform. What mechanism has the state government put in place to ensure strict compliance of the new curriculum that it is introducing?
Yeah, as we've heard from just heard from the background there, the governor said the state government will now review in its executive council meeting, they will review the content of the curriculum and make policy statement to ensure that every Islamic school in the state comply with the directives. And the board has so many mechanisms to monitor compliance, and they will as well compel compliance by putting in place measures, by continued visiting schools, having desk officers in schools to ensure that these policies are implemented in the school. And also all the examination that will be carried out in all these schools will be based on this set out curriculum. That is some of the measures put in place. And anybody found to have violated the rule, there is necessary laws put in place to bring them to book. These are some of the measures put in place by the state government so far.
All right, very commendable. Okay, before I let you go, is there any arrangements put in place for graduates of this system to further their studies?
Of course, the state government has made it a policy to establish higher Islamic college in all the 27 local governments across the state, so that graduates of Islamic schools can now aspire for higher education. We always have to remember that the policy put in place takes cognizance of literacy, numeracy, digital knowledge, and vocational skills, so graduates can aspire to attain these higher Islamic colleges. In addition to the higher Islamic colleges, Borno State government have also made arrangement with Azhar University in Cairo, so that a whole college in Maiduguri has been converted to Al-Azhar institution, so that this school has capacity to accommodate up to 10,000 students at a time. And in each of these local government, students will be kind of selected through rigorous examination based on merit, so that they will be made students of this institution, while 10% of the allocation will be made to other states across the country. The idea is to ensure that the state has control over what is taught, over what is preached, so that what we had witnessed in the last 13 years of Boko Haram insurgency does not repeat itself. And that is one. Two, it is also part of, like I said, efforts to streamline the non-formal education sector into the formal education sector, so that the two systems will go hand in hand, in tune with present-day realities.
Okay, thank you very much, Mohammed Goni, for that wonderful contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, still talking education matters, National Universities Commission, NUC, has presented a provisional license to 2 new private universities in Nigeria. They are Lighthouse University, Ewubanusa, Edo State, and African School of Economics, Abuja, bringing the total number of private universities in the country to 148. Christiana Akonde has details.
Following the approval of the licenses by the Federal Executive Council (FEC) during its meeting in December 2023, Minister of Education Professor Tahir Maman says government will continue to welcome proposals for the establishment of private universities by credible groups and organizations that meet the prescribed criteria.
New universities must bring on board fresh approaches to university education that is relevant to our society, provide cutting-edge research, and overall is seen to be a positive contributor to the development of Nigeria.
May I categorically state here that any operations outside the provisions of NUC guidelines shall attract appropriate sanctions, which may include a withdrawal of the provisional license and or the suspension of a university's operations.
This approval brought the number of private universities in Nigeria to 148 as at date, and 272 universities in total. In Abuja, Christiana Akonde, NTA News.
A document to guide ECOWAS Commission on Policy Implementation regarding economic, social and cultural cooperation in the sub-region is being validated at the Stakeholders Consultative Forum in Abuja. Kevin Ewunaye reports that the forum also had inputs from civil society organizations.
On the blueprint of the United Nations, European Union and African Union, the ECOWAS heads of state and government adopted the takeoff of the ECOSOC. This meeting, in conjunction with relevant civil societies operating in the sub-region, is to draft a working document for the unit. It will also spell out budgetary procedure, headship, research and collaborative plans with similar organizations worldwide. But at the center of the operationalization process is the role of women and youth in cultural and economic cooperation within the sub-region.
The states cannot do it alone. The private sector is very key, in not only giving employment, providing employment, but also creating the necessary conditions for individuals to, bring out their agency, in it. And that is what we need.
The document to emerge from this engagement is expected to be presented to the ECOWAS Mediation, Peace and Security Council in June this year for ratification. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewunaye, NTA News.
We'll be taking another break now. The news continues in a moment. Please stay tuned. And Susan is in Makurdi to take it up from here. Susan, it's good to see you.
It's good to know you could join us in Makurdi. The Benue State government has constituted a special task force to seek lasting and holistic approach towards addressing the root causes of internally displaced persons and related issues. Governor Hyacinth Alia, who performed the inauguration, reaffirmed his commitment to finding durable solutions to the humanitarian crisis. Elias Itiab reports.
The Special Task Force on Lasting Solutions for Internally Displaced Persons is charged with the responsibility of finding holistic solutions on related issues such as causes of conflicts, natural disasters, and climate change. While appreciating the team for their acceptance to deliver on the assignment, Governor Hyacinth earlier expressed optimism that their wealth of experience will come to bear on their task. The governor noted that the issue of internally displaced persons is not just a humanitarian concern, but also poses a threat to development. He added that the support of the international community will contribute to a great extent to bringing lasting peace.
We will prioritize protection of human rights, the provision of basic services, and the promotion of durable solutions, such as voluntary return, resettlement, and integration.
Head of Office, North Central, United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, Ashraf Usman said the country delegation of the UN will soon be in the state to interface with the state government and the IDPs on their immediate and long-term needs.
The world is now moving away from addressing humanitarian problems with only humanitarian solutions. So now there are two ways. That's one way. But the second way is to respond to a humanitarian problem with a development solution.
The task force has its membership drawn from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Lands, Survey and Solid Minerals, Agriculture and Food Security, Health and Human Services, Education and Knowledge Management, the Social Investment Agency, the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, the State Planning Commission, civil society organizations, and the Peace and Reconciliation Commission. In Makurdi, Elias Itiab, NTA News.
Benue people have been urged to remain calm and law-abiding in the midst of insecurity and economic challenges being experienced at the moment. Governor Hyacinth Alia made the call when he received members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers and the Benue Motorcycle Riders Association, as well as tricyclists at the Government House, Makurdi. Again, Elias Itiab reports.
The meeting with the leadership of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, the Benue Motorcycle Hires Association, BEMOA, and operators of tricycle as well as market operators, as convened by the governor, is a proactive step to maintain law and order following the recent increase in the influx of herdsmen into the state and the rise in the cost of living. Governor Hyacinth Alia, who decried the protests being experienced in some parts of the country, maintained that the state government is doing everything within its power to cushion the hardships being experienced and called on people of the state to remain calm and orderly. He called on union leaders to convey the message of peaceful coexistence to all nooks and crannies of the state, noting that the state needs peace to pave way for the desired development.
It is saddening to know that in some states there are protests on the streets. That there's no food, there's no this, there's no that. There are hikes every place. I'm pleading to you and with you to see reason why the energy that we have must not be wasted on protests. Let all your membership and everyone you meet know that we're walking our way out so that the herders will go back to where they came.
Leaders of the various unions who thanked the governor for the initiative promised to preach the message of peace wherever they find themselves.
We also thank you for bringing buses
to the good people of Benue State to subsidize.
We appreciate the governor so much for bringing in this monitoring and coordination of markets. We are so grateful because many things we know did not arise in the market.
They, however, called on the governor to set up a task force to check arbitrary increase in the cost of goods and services and to sanitize the markets. In Makudi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. It's back to Ogochukwuka in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Susan. And now, in a bid to enhance national security and curb criminal activities facilitated by the misuse of tinted glass, the Nigerian Police Force has reviewed the issuance of tinted glass permits previously banned in June 2022. A statement by the force indicates that the ban was initiated due to widespread concerns regarding the role of tinted glass in aiding kidnapping, armed robbery, illegal transportation of firearms, human trafficking, among others. With the proposed lifting of the ban, the force assures that stringent measures have been implemented to prevent abuse and ensure strict compliance with guidelines governing the issuance and use of tinted glass permits. Similarly, ICT analysts and enforcement officers nationwide will undergo a comprehensive training at a later day. Meanwhile, the force says it remains committed to providing updates to the public on the implementation of the reviewed process of tinted glass permits issuance while ensuring transparency and accountability in its efforts to safeguard lives and property. And now we take a sports update from our sports desk.
Head coach of Nigeria's Super Falcons, Randy Wardrum, says is cautious of the threat posed by Cameroon as they're set to face off against the indomitable Lionesses in the 2024 Paris Olympic qualifiers. The first leg of the fixture will be held in Douala on Friday, with both teams eager to secure a place at next Olympics.
I think the two countries know each other very well. And they certainly have a lot of talent, and they're very, very dangerous, especially in their counter-attacking style of play. But I really, really like our squad. I like the team. I like the team chemistry. We were able to get all of our players back in for these matches, and I think that's very important.
Nasarawa Amazons continued their winning streak in the Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership with a convincing 5-0 victory over Niger Rattles, with Adamawa Queens defeating Abia Angels 2-1. In other results, Royal Queens and Heartland Queens settled for a draw. Rivers Angels beat Remo Stars 2-0, with Bayelsa Queens beating Sunshine Queens by the same margin, while the match between FC Robo Queens and Edo Queens ended 1-0 in favor of the home team. Meanwhile, Barcelona are confident of advancing to the next round of the UEFA Champions League, despite Victor Osimhen's goal condemning them to a 1-0 draw in the first leg of their round of 16 clash on Wednesday. Arsenal suffered a 1-0 loss to Porto, with Mikel Arteta acknowledging that his team lacked purpose in the match. And finally to tennis, Africa's only surviving team at the ongoing ITTF World Team Table Tennis Championship, Egypt, on Wednesday exited the tournament after an impressive outing in Busan, South Korea. The Egyptian ladies, led by six-time African champion Dina Meshrev, worked their way to the second round after finishing second in their group, which included France, Czech Republic, Ukraine, and Croatia. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
The House of Representatives today observed a special valedictory session in honor of the late former Speaker of the Fourth Assembly, Gali Umar Na'aba, describing him as a passionate and courageous leader who stood stoutly in defense of democracy and the independence of the legislature. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, presided over the valedictory session, which had in attendance former speakers and principal officers of the House, as well as family members who all paid glowing tributes to the life and times of the late Gali Na'aba.
Gali Umar Na'aba held dear democracy, justice, and the unwavering belief in the potentials of Nigeria and its people. Let us pledge to honor his memory by embodying the values he represented.
There is no doubt the history of legislature and to the extent House of Representatives cannot be written without a special place for Gali Umar Naba. He paid his dues, he served his country, and even continued serving even after leaving office.
With his passing, our nation has lost the talents, the experience, and the courage of a principled, progressive, and passionate politician.
He was a speaker for excellence. He led the House without a compass roadmap. Our House was full of members who had dreams for the country, who were very young, very vibrant. Most had no godfathers. They came by themselves. That was why you saw the independence of that House.
His commitment to democracy and democratization, his commitment to social justice, to building new voices and leadership.
There are several Gali Nabas that are living today. Several out there. Please, sir, let us begin to locate them. Commend our own, encourage our own while they are still living.
National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikben reports that Thursday's valedictory session is the first to be observed since the inauguration of the 10th House of Representatives. And that's nationwide today. Many thanks for finding time to join us. Good evening.